last time on Art was Season 4, it was the group team challenge, and we had our first ever team win, but we also had our first ever bottom 4, as one of the artists sacrificed themselves, ending their run on Art was. Continuing from last week's episode, I can reveal the artist receiving the paintbrush from trash is poorly documented. But I will also say that the other artists don't know who's got the brush, but do know someone's received one. So, poorly, if you play this right, could make a big impact on the game. But let's get straight on to episode 4. Hello everyone and welcome back to Art Wars Season 4. Today is episode 4, and we have got a very special episode coming up. As in today's episode we have a bit of a twist, because today's main challenge, they are not competing to stay safe from elimination, as no one is going home today, but in fact they are competing for a top 2 spot, where they will then battle once again to try and get the win and a advantage paintbrush, which could be a new one that we haven't quite seen yet. So, moving on, here is today's main challenge. For this main challenge, the artists were tasked with creating an illustration themed around tattoos. So here are all 7 pieces of art up on your screen now. It's time to reveal everyone's placements for today's episode, and as we have a top 2, we will be going from the bottom to the top and giving critiques to everyone. So starting off with the low placements, they go to Poorly Documented and Spazleon. Starting with Spazleon, here are they. Now Spazleon, they did a great tattoo drawing, but in terms of this illustration competition, all it is basically a tattoo. When we give a brief, we expect, like, beyond just the brief. We didn't want just a tattoo, we wanted a tattoo themed illustration, if that makes sense. So it just felt very basic compared to some other people. Now, you could have passed with this style if there was so much detail, but there wasn't. It felt very, very basic. Now with Poorly Documented, they did the other kind of way to Spazleon, where they did more than the brief, just as we wanted. But in terms of artistic, like, technicalities, it felt a bit rushed. Some of the judging circle didn't like how muddy some of the thing was, and there was barely any contrast. It just wasn't liked in that sense, because when you look at it, it just isn't the most appealing to stare at. Next up, safe is Marionetta and Rain Mellow. So Rain Mellow, this drawing, it's good, it's okay, but that's it. That's why you're safe. There's not really any faults, except it felt very basic. We really expect more at this point in the competition, as it's narrowing down quite a lot, so step it up! Now with Marionetta, the judging circle had such a mixed reaction. Some of them loved it, some of them definitely didn't. Now the one thing I do have to say about the drawing is I really like it, but in some elements it can be seen as a bit muddy and rushed. Very similar to Season 2 artist, Just Another Artist. Some of their pieces, and yours Marionetta, is very, like, got this rustic style to it, but make sure if you're doing that rustic style, it's done very well, because you can still keep it neat and gathered and sharp. But just be careful with your choices, because if they're not done well, people, they could send you to elimination. Next up, hi, it is Razzle Dazzle, meaning the top 2 are Off-Brand and Little Mind Girl. Now with Razzle Dazzle's critiques, there is literally nothing I have to give them that is a negative. Just the fact the other 2, just impressed the judges more, I guess. The judging circle just like all the critiques were saying they loved it. They loved the concept, the art, and all of that. It's just like the other 2 did better. I don't know what I'm meant to say. It's really annoying, I guess, that you did so well, but then just came so short. Now with the top 2, they both just smashed this challenge out the park. Judging circle was just so impressed with both drawings here. It's one of the first episodes I don't think I've had anything to say to the tops. They're just incredible. There was nothing more you could do to improve. It was immaculate. So, obviously now we know our top 2 is Off-Brand and Little Mind Girl. So they will be competing for their advantage paintbrush this episode. So, Razzle Dazzle, Rain Mellow, Marionetta, Poorly Documented and Spaz Leon are all moving on to next week's episode. But make sure you step it up, because we ain't playing safe no more. Someone will be going home next episode, people. No more saving, I don't think. We're getting serious now, okay? Now for the top 2 challenge. The challenge was grayscale. So they had to create an illustration that was completely grey, which is based off the season 3 main challenge, which was the same task. So on screen now are the 2 illustrations done. It was a very close battle, but one illustration did rise above the other for the reason of there was slightly more contrast and it was more pleasing to look at, which was the judging circle's feedback. So I can reveal the winner of episode 4 of Art was season 4 and getting an advantage brush is Off-Brand Artist. Off-Brand now has 2 wins, putting them in the lead of the competition. Now it is time for them to pick which paintbrush they will be picking. So they could choose between the Life or Death brush, which we've already seen before, and the new Poison brush, which affects the artists they choose to use it on by giving them a negative 5 points. They have picked the Life or Death brush. So, at some point in the competition, they can use this brush to either save themselves from elimination or send someone else into an elimination. So this brush really could change the game in some shape or form, because honestly, God knows what they're going to do with it. These paintbrushes will change the game, and so far there are 3 out there and a lot more to come. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Art Wars. If you've liked the video, make sure to like, subscribe and all that good stuff, and turn the bell notification on to be notified when brand new videos come out. Make sure to stay tuned, because in the next episode of season 4 the profile battle is back, where we'll get to see all the incredible different talents and skills the artists have that they haven't yet shown in the competition. And now trust me, next week it will be a crazy one, so stay tuned. Also make sure to go check out the Art Wars official Instagram, link down below, because it gives you all sneak peeks and looks at other projects we are working on, as there is a lot coming out in 2022.